Hey guys, Charlie here. Welcome back. Island Bound. Good to see ya. We got a shakedown happening. We got people in our solitary confinement. What a bunch of baddies. Yeah, they caused a big fuss when we went through their stuff and found their stash. Yeah, that happens. So I don't have a whole lot of money here. You'll notice I was like, I'm gonna let this play out until I get a bunch of money. Yeah, it didn't happen very well, did it? We're gonna take a bank loan here so we can get this cell block going. So I'm gonna take and get, we're just gonna make this brick. That's okay. We're gonna make this, and I'm gonna go, I wonder if it'll actually, that's what I thought. Let's just let it go like this and like that. We're gonna make this cell block over here. And I wanna make a little walk path as well. I think I'm gonna go like this. And I know I originally said, actually, I did originally say that I didn't want prisoners walking through this. And I kind of meant it. I actually kind of don't want prisoners walking through this. So instead, I think I'm gonna give them, you know, why don't we give them one of these stepping stone things. We can give them a lily pad. Do I want them? I don't know. Like, part of me actually wants them just walking around. I made this to where they could walk this way, though, you know? Maybe I'll move this. Is it easy to move it? It's not difficult to move it. It's not difficult. I guess I'll do that. I'll move that there. We can move this light. That's really easy to move. And we'll leave this alone. And then when this moves here, we're going to need the pipe going like that. And we're going to need the big pipe just to go like that. It's fine. We'll have that be the priority for the workmen. So, the game has released. I'm finally able to sit down, read some of your comments and stuff, and I am blown away by just how awesome you guys are. Thank you so much for, like, you really enjoy this series. Like, thank you very much for at least stopping by and checking it out. Means a great deal to me. I am going to maintain my recordings to be about 4 to 5 videos ahead if I can, just to kind of get rid of just to kind of keep a backlog, all right? We want to keep a backlog so that my busy life with my kid and, you know, we're still dealing with COVID. It's getting worse. Not in my state. My state's actually getting a little bit better because my state, we're actually doing okay with the masks. So we're hanging in there. We're doing okay. I hope you guys are practicing, like, you know, wearing masks and stuff too, because I mean, it's just common sense at this point. You're gonna prevent it from spreading to other people. You're gonna stop the virus from happening. It's just common sense at this point. If you're not wearing a mask, you're just please, well, please guys, do that. I just want to reiterate that because I know there's a lot of places where they don't enforce it. There's a lot of places where they just, for some reason, think that this is over, and it's not. And all the states, at least in the United States, that aren't enforcing mask policies, they're all going up. All the states that are enforcing mask policies, they're all going down. I think Michigan now, we're at I think getting around like the 100 cases a day mark at the moment. And that's statewide, so it's pretty good. The snitch. The snitch. I didn't protect the snitch. We still have these automatic like promotions, I guess you could call them for these guys. They would probably call them promotions. We still have those in the policies, and I have it there like that to maybe try to deter people from murdering other people, but I'm gonna turn that one off just for a bit because I don't want to. I'm not interested yet in the maximum security thing. Although if I leave them as maximum, I mean they all have. This is all shared anyway. Oh, we have to get a door here. Hang on. Door. How about right there? Did I just use the orange door? You know, it's fine. We'll just use the orange door. There we go. And this will be a new cell block for 12 new inmates. Oh joy! Let's go ahead and close that down. So anyway, I've been like looking at your guys' comments and stuff, and I'm pretty happy with what I'm seeing. There are some things that are a little bit surprising to me. not as surprising as you might think, and that's the rating that this has on Steam, this DLC. I was surprised to see how mixed it is. Now, I'm not immune to the controversy of the fact that this game, for the longest time, this game was something that had just free updates from Introversion and all that stuff. And in the last series, we talked about this already. It's not like I don't want to like, what's the term? I don't remember, like something about a dead horse, right? I don't want to do that, right? Like I don't want to just keep hitting the same topic over and over again, right? But I think I'd just like to reiterate that what Double 11's doing is at a significantly faster pace than what Introversion was doing. And I also want to reiterate too, and it may not, no, I don't know, it may not resonate with people as much this way, but Introversion's code is really messy to work with, so it's not necessarily Double 11's fault that there's a lot of like little bugs introduced when they make new features. But I will say this though, I really wish they would take a second and just, oh no, all right, he's destroying things. They can't get out. I've got the whole thing fenced off. There's just no way they should be able to get out now. The whole place is locked down. You know, anyway, I think people need to maybe not. I don't know how to word it. Right? It's one of these things where everyone's going to have their opinion. Everyone has what they like, but I really think Paradox could do well by just taking a second and just really addressing every bug that exists, as many as they can, instead of making new content. I think they could benefit from that, at least from a PR standpoint, right? I don't think a lot of the issues that are caused are Paradox's fault. I don't think they're Double 11's fault. I think it's just one of those things where you inherited a game that maybe wasn't quite as optimal as you would like it to be, and you're sort of just trying to deal with it the best you can. But I'm also a little bit, I know, I've been labeled naive sometimes by people in my personal life. I'd like to give people the benefit of the doubt. I'm kind of one of those a little bit more positive person that people, I guess, where I like to give people the benefit of the doubt. And it's not about, any special interest in that way. It's just, I'd like to believe that people are not inherently evil, right? So they're not trying to ruin things, but they do have to make money. And I think one of the things that people are going to be are mad about is the fact that this is a paid DLC. And they're like it begins now kind of thing, but it doesn't really begin now. It's been, it's kind of been Paradox's business model for a very long time, and it's a sustainable one. There's a reason Introversion sold this game. They can't maintain it anymore. They can't develop it anymore. They want to move on to other projects because constantly developing this game and releasing free updates does not pay the bills, right? They cannot keep doing that unless they can continue to make money, and they can't keep selling more copies of a game that's just constantly getting new updates and not actually releasing any new content that's exciting and that can be press released and that can be downloaded as DLC, right? That's a sustainability model. It's not about draining up people of their money. It's just about being able to continuously support the game that you want to support. I'm going to go this way, and then I'm going to put this path like this, and I'm going to go like this and around. But, at the end of the day, this is one of those things where I don't have to justify it to you, right? Like, they do, right? They have to, and if they haven't, then don't buy the DLC. If it's like, this doesn't look like it's worth it to me, then don't buy it. Now, I will say this, though. There have been some complaints. This is me responding to the Steam reviews, right? Like, this is not me responding to anybody that's been in my comment section yet, okay? The Steam reviews gripe about the fact that there are some systems in this that are broken. And there are. I'm personally complaining about the swimming. Now, I've done that the whole series. I've been very consistent about that. I don't have a problem with prisoners being able to try to swim away. I don't think that's necessarily unrealistic, quote unquote, in the typical sense. What I have a problem with is that there's no way to stop them the moment they hit deep water. That's the part I have a problem with. If they make it to deep water, they win. Or they die. There's no middle ground. What I would really like to have is a way to get them out of the deep water when they get there. Now, we might say that sniper towers are the way to do that. And I'm certainly going to look into that because that might be the only way to do it. But I think another cool way to do it would be to give me boat patrols. Right? You have the models for boats. Make a little, make a little dinghy, right? Give me a little boat with an engine and let me put a guard in there and let him have a patrol route, just like the dogs. I think that would be more than reasonable. And I think it's a super doable thing, right? That would be one way around that problem. The other issue I have with this is that your entire island will go to a complete standstill and it won't tell you why. What I mean by that is, if I delete this door, just this one, if I delete that door right now, every single prisoner, they won't be able to get to the canteen. They won't do anything. They'll be basically locked in their cells. But the game will not tell you why that's happening. You have to figure it out. And the default to figure out is, well, there's a hole in your fence somewhere. They can get out. And the reason why that's a bigger thing in an island, and maybe not so much in normal islands, but in this island, it's because of the way I've got the island designed. I know a lot of these problems I'm having are because of how this island is designed. But at the base level of it, if they make it to here, right here, if they make it to here, they're gone. They're either going to die or they're out. And that's like way in the middle of my map. But because my guards cannot go into deep water, they just win. And that's why deleting this door leads to the whole place going in standstill, because technically this gives them access to the outside because they can get on this bridge and they can get out. Now, one thing I could do to stop that, and I didn't even think of this, but I could actually do this to stop that, is I could go in, where is it? It's in here, right? Those moorings. I don't know where they are. I have to go in the more menu. These. I've got 18 of these in storage. What I could do is one of these. Like, if I did this, I'd have to get rid of the lights or move the lights in, which I can do that. Right? But if I did this, that would actually solve my problem in this way. Right? Because that would mean that if they made it to this island, they still couldn't get into the water, right? That's the trick. That's the ticket. That's why it fails, because they can make it to the water. Now, I have to do the same thing over here, too, so I'd have to use them, in this side as well. And then, I guess I could probably maybe do one of these numbers, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense. I could do a fence. A fence would be way cheaper, by the way. Fences, we should be using fences for this. But if I went like this, right, it introduces, this is both the pros and the cons, by the way, right, of this DLC. We're going to talk about the pros and cons of this. This whole video is going to be a monologue about this DLC, because I finally got a chance to see what people are thinking about it, right? The pros and cons of this. On one hand, it doesn't, and we'll get into the land expansion thing in a second. I was going to wait till later on to reveal it, but I have probably an unpopular opinion regarding the expansion, and we'll look at that in a little bit. But what I wanted to say is these logistical issues, trying to keep them in, having to, block off this little bay here, it all creates a more interesting gameplay experience. And I'm saying this as, as honestly as I can. I'm not being influenced by anything here, right? This isn't cleared for transfer where I'm sponsored by Paradox. That's not what's happening here, okay? It's more interesting because it's not the same square plot over and over and over again. It's not, this always works, then you should do this, then you should do this. In this case, we have extra expenses in locking it down. We have more interesting landscape, more interesting terrain, right? Building placements that look a bit more organic, like a real city would look or whatever, they're not lined up. That's why I don't line them up. Because, like, real structures in an island like this would not be lined up. Now, I would love to maybe have points of them where are lined up, but I can't make these buildings angled. Ugh, if this game was gridless, the OCD people would hate me even more. But, like, it creates little problems like this where you have to figure them out and go, oh, yeah, I should do this instead, right? Those types of things. And I'm all on board for those types of things, but the game doesn't tell you why. The game has this issue, in my opinion, where it doesn't actually tell you why you can't have what you want. And so you get confused. Me as a player, I get confused. I get frustrated. Why doesn't this work? Why isn't this happening? Even though I've got 2,000 hours in this game, I still get confused. I spent like a long time. I spent like 20 minutes. I just staring at my screen, playing at 1x speed, trying to figure out when these guys were going to leave their cells because it's like, it's not working. And there's no signal. There's no visible mark anywhere. I'm looking all over the place. I can't find anything. I'm going to the deployment screen and I'm not seeing this, right? I'm not seeing the ability to mark this as a zone. And that's the signal. That's the signal that this is not secure, because if it was, you'd be able to zone it, right? But that doesn't resonate with me because I'm so used to it, like the outside is water, so that's not highlighting. So maybe the rest of this doesn't highlight it. I don't know, right? And in the end, it was this fence right here that allowed me to play it, right? After I expanded and went all the way around like this, I deleted this partial fence for my forestry. And when I did that, I opened up this land. But what I didn't realize is by opening that land, I allow prisoners to walk through this gap right here. And they can get to here. And if they can get to here, then they can get to here. And if they can get to here, then they can get onto the helipad, which in turn lets them get to deep water, and then they can swim away. That was the active problem that was causing my entire prison to lock down. It was this tiny little thing, which again, if you build your prisons differently, you don't build them like I do. You don't build them on maps like this one. It becomes easier to see those problems because you have a more traditional workflow. This one, it's much more difficult to manage that and to maintain that. But it's also, in my opinion, much more interesting. And that's why I like to play it with this. That's why I chose to play this map specifically. Because it's more interesting. Because, guys, I gotta be honest with you. I'm always honest with you guys. I'm never gonna deceive you. If you're one of those people that are like, this guy's a shill, he's deceiving, then don't watch the channel. Like, what are you doing here? Get out of here. You know? If you don't trust me, then leave. I'm being honest with you when I say that I get bored of Prison Architect. Okay? There's a reason I don't play it all the time. I get bored of it. It's the same game over and over and over and over again. It's all the same. It's a game that you get into it, what you put into it, or you get out of it what you put into it, right? There are lots of games that are like that. You only get out of them what you put into them. City Skylines is one of those games. I think RimWorld is one of those games. I think Kerbal Space Program is one of those games. These are games that will stand the test of time. And they'll do that because you've taken it upon yourself to do something that makes it interesting for you. That's what Prison Architect is. I have another prison idea already. This play has given me another prison idea. It's a play on a feature that I wish this game had that I can't have. So I'm going to try to use my imagination to come up with a way to have that function, to come up with a way to have that feature. It's an experimental thing. I'll talk to you about that when we start to do it later. I'm not going to tell you what it is now, but it's an idea that, like, nobody's done that because you haven't really been able to do that until Island Bound. And actually, I think technically you probably could do it before Island Bound. It'd just take a lot of work. And I am actually going to take that custom, like, work into it anyway. But the point is, you get out of it what you put into it. Which leads me to my probably unpopular opinion regarding... Let me get these status lights really quick. I want to put more red lights Are they up here? Yeah, red lights. I want to put one here and here and here and here. Just because. I want more red lights for that helicopter. I want it to know where the borders are. Which brings me to land expansion. Right. Now, I don't have the money to do that yet. We're at 36,000. So we are building money as I sit here, but I also have a loan that's outstanding. So there's that too, because I needed the money for it. Land expansion in this game. Okay. When you buy this, first off, I want to be clear. I don't think it should cost you $80,000 anymore because you're not getting land. However, you're getting a huge fresh plot of nothing but water. Water that you can't build anything on. Now, the criticism for that is that it's a waste. There's no sense in expanding if there's nothing but water there. So now, when you play Island Bound, you're trapped on this one little tile. I have two defenses for this. And again, I realize this is an unpopular opinion, so you can call this playing devil's advocate if it makes you feel better. Two defenses for this. One, islands are going to be smaller than the mainland. So there's not really like a, oh, well, you could make another island on this side, right? What about having another island appear? Which brings me to my second point. My second point is, dirt is free. And you can put dirt anywhere. You can make your own islands. I've been doing it throughout this playthrough, adding land to expand in little places, right? You can make your own island for free. You can shape it how you want. You could put two islands over here. You could put one long one. You could put one circular one. You could have the island dip closer to this one. You could just expand this island and make it the horseshoe around this way. Whatever you want to do, it lets you do it, and it lets you do it for no additional cost. So you can play the game the way you want. You get to structure it the way you want, which is different than Prison Architect has ever been before. It has always been a single square plot of land with the road on the right side, and then that's it. You expand. Okay, now you got the road in the middle because you expanded to the right. With this prison, I can have resources coming in on the left. I can have resources coming in anywhere I want from multiple places at once, from land or by air or by sea, right? It expands the capabilities of the game and introduces new, interesting ways to play it if you are interesting enough in your brain to give yourself that enjoyment factor. If you are creative enough to do it, instead of just expecting the game to do it for you, you can enjoy this DLC. But in the end of the day, that's just not what some people want. In which case, to you, I say, look to people like me on the internet. Whether it's me or another creator, look to people like me to see what things are like, and then buy it if you like it. Look at this guy. He's doing nothing. He's just banging himself against this. Get him out. Warren Roach, get him out. That's my point, okay? If that's an unpopular opinion, I reckon it is. The second one with you can design the islands yourself, that's been like the biggest, aside from the bugs, and this has been like the biggest complaint for this is that land expansion is blank water. I happen to see it as an opportunity. I prefer to look at it. This is a choice, right? It's not like this is right. This is a choice. It's a mindset decision to see it in a certain way and then react and play it according to that increased, not decreased, flexibility. You get into the game, you get out of the game what you put into the game. This is what that is. And if you don't see that, then you're either having a different gameplay experience than me, or you're missing the entire point. That's my opinion, right? I'm not stating facts here. I'm stating opinion. I choose to see the possibilities and the opportunities instead of just going, They ain't giving me shit. I ain't paying. Okay. Not everybody can be happy. That's all I'm going to say about that. Now, bugs. Bugs are definitely prevalent, right? Bugs are definitely here. There are things that just don't work for some people. I haven't encountered as many as some are saying, but I also have a really good system that can support things like this, right? I have a good system, and I don't know what it is. Maybe it's certain people's configurations. Some people say it's crashing. Some people say that janitors don't work, and like all those things that I was saying in episode 5, but that stuff was my fault because I did not secure my border. And when you don't secure your border, this has been the same thing in Prison Architect since the alpha days. If you don't secure your border, your prisoners are not allowed outside because they're not allowed to go into insecure zones. If you don't secure my border, that's why they get locked down. That's just the way the game has always worked. But with the island, it changes things a little bit because it's like your perception is off. Like it's surrounded by water. Where are they going to go? Well, they can just swim. I don't like that they can just swim. I want something that lets me stop them from swimming. Something simple, not like you have to go all the way to guard towers because that's incredibly expensive. And you have to set them up and you have to pay the guard towers, which are like the snipers are insanely expensive, right? I don't want that to be the only solution. I want another solution, a more elegant solution. Nay, I say a more island-bound solution. I want boats. I want patrol boats. That's what I want. Because that's the kinds of things that I would expect from a prison on the water. You would have ways of getting out into the water and interacting on the water. So that's what I want. That's my 2 cents on it. Take it or leave it. All right. There. I vented. All right. This is me venting. I think it's a good vent session. What do you think? Leave me your dissenting comments in the description. Or in the comments, I guess. Not in the, if you could leave them in the description, I'm not even mad. That's amazing. Good job. But I think this actually solves that problem, because before they were getting out from this fence, because they could get out here, which again is my fault. The way I've designed it causes that to happen. It's not the game's fault, right? And I fixed it now. This is a game about finding problems, not with the game and engine, but finding problems in your setup and then tweaking and fixing them. And a lot of people, look, oh, here, I got this set up too. This is my outdoor solitary. My outdoor solitary cells. All right. I don't know if it's going to work real well, but I feel like if you get punished, you can stand out in the rain now, scrubs. I just think that's a pretty good thing. Okay, so we got helicopters delivering resources to this island. I like that. We've got helicopters delivering resources here. And unfortunately, the visitors. This is something really weird happening, right? My visitors prefer to leave on this helicopter instead of leaving on the boat. And the reason for that is not because like the boats are closer, right? These boats come in and they stay for like 30 seconds. Not even that. They stay for like 5 seconds, I guess. But they come in and they don't stay all the time. So sometimes there's no boats here. And if the prisoner, if a visitor wants to leave and there's no boat, then they're going to try to go this way. And they're going to go through my entire prison to get to the boat. And that's going to, like, to get to the helicopter, I mean. And that sucks. I don't like that. So what I'd like to do, if possible, is I'd like to put just like a little helipad, I think, over here. Or, I guess the other thing I could do is just get rid of one of these doors. But then this is... I wonder if is there a way to make it to where... I wonder if there's a way to make it to where visitors will not go through an area. I don't believe that exists in Prison Architect. Removing a visitor's ability to move through an area. I don't remember that being a thing. Oh, you know what? Like, I started this whole thing thinking, hey, I'm going to make these cells. And then I just kind of, never did. So let's do that too. I'm using the natural ground here. I decided not to make this straight. I know, just to trigger Katie Cat. That's why I did it. Hi, Caitlin. Doing this for you. I'm doing it for you. I decided not to make a dock here I'm just gonna have it zigzag, and you know, again, it's just more interesting. All right, you can hate it if you want to. It's fine. Bed here. Flip it over. Bed here. Toilets. Oh, I did something else for you too, Caitlin. Look at this. Where is it? Where is it? Here. Look what I did. Huh? Clinton will hate it. I got a little bit for Clinton here. I got a little bit for you. Right? Look, I separated it. You happy? And then you went from, oh, thank you so much. What have you done? You know what? You guys don't even need to be in here to clean right now, but I think I am going to just get one guard in here because it's probably necessary just to make sure these guys don't kill each other. And then current prisoner count, by the way, is 80 out of 79. So we're getting pretty close to having the 100 prisoners. Right, we're getting that. We also have made 70% of our required superior beds, and 7 out of 10 of our required people have passed foundation education so far. So we are making progress on the grants. I'm not like at a standstill with that. It just takes time to do the education thing, and the grants are just super useful for all sorts of, like, a big plethora of reasons. So. Gonna have this come down like that and then back up like this, and honestly I think we can probably just dismantle this one. It's kind of pointless to have it there. You know what, let's keep that though. Let's get rid of it, and then we'll redirect it this way. The reason why that exists, as you can see, we do have sprinklers above the capacitor, above the power station. That's to put the fires out if this thing overloads and explodes. I always do that with all my power stations. And then you might think, well, how come you need this big web? And that's to create redundancy. When this explodes, it will often take out pipes on the exterior. And if it does that, and it's like, say for instance, I'm only going in from this direction, so I go in once and then I make a square around it. If it blows up this pipe, then it can't get water for the other sprinklers. So I go in for 3 access points on these every time, so that if it blows up somewhere, I have at least 1 access point that can distribute water to the other sprinklers that survive the blast. And it almost always works. So I go in with 3 different ways. Hope that makes sense. All right, so we have our cell. I think this is pretty, it's pretty basic. I don't know, what do you think? Should we do it over top the toilet this time? All right, you know what? Let's just mix it up for the people who don't like the 3s. Sorry, Clint. I know. Boo. Boo. I know. I'm right there with you, man. I think it's awesome. Seriously, just stack those 3 things in one tile. Why not? We also want to get the radiator. Hi. Put you there, I guess. And then we run that water down to there. And we'll just go like this too. Just went out. Now, where's that radiator? Way over here. Oh, it's right here. Okay. We can go a more direct route if we want to, like that. But I still don't know if that's long enough to get up here. I guess we'll have to see how that goes. This door. Can we lock that open, please? And then let's do a shakedown tonight. I did one last night, but I want to do it again because I feel like they've got luxuries. Oh, speaking of which, another thing I totally disagree with and I wish they would remove. I consider this to be not a bug, but just a poor decision in game development for this. I want them to remove the component where people can, quote unquote, throw contraband over the fence. That's been something that's in Prison Architect the entire time, and yet that can still happen in Island Bound. People can still throw contraband over the fence. Now, one defense of that feature still existing is that people could, if they wanted to, cruise around in their little boat and just throw it on the island and drive and go away. That's an actual legitimate defense to it, is that you could do that. But there's no way to counter it. Before, you could counter it really well. But with islands, It kind of depends on your landscape whether or not you can actually counter that. For example, normally contraband, I think it's 10 tiles. I want to say it's like 10 tiles. They can throw contraband over the fence, if you will. But with Island Bound, my exterior border is right here. Like that's the land. So now they can throw contraband like right there in the middle of everything. And they just happen to do it because they don't give me a way to lock down waterways, which brings me to another thing I think the game needs, a way to lock down waterways. Okay? I want big ol' underwater, super expensive fences or nets that can lock this down and create gates. They have plenty of those types of things in real life. I think that would be something that would be really cool to do. So, just saying, let me do that. It's incredibly expensive to build. And if I have boats, that if my people can go out on little rafts or boats or even these, use these. I mean, you have multiple character models or I guess boat models for those types of things. Just make another boat and have that be a staff boat. I know, shocking. And the staff boat can patrol the waters. If it happens to see somebody swimming away and the boat gets there, ta-da! You stop the prisoner and it gets on the boat and you could bring them back to a boat port. I think that's great. You could have staff-only boat ports to make sure that the port is always open, right? I think these are types of things I really wish they would have thought of. I'm just saying. Maybe I should be on the team. Third-party consultant. Oh, I'm kidding. I don't think I deserve anything like that. Do all of these guys have birds? Yeah, they all have birds. I need to get more of those, though, because I think we're getting to the point where... Yeah, we have one cell available in medium sec? Wait. There's no... Oh, right. You know what? Let's let him have it. You can have minimum security. It's not like it really gives you anything, but we'll let you have minimum security. Carpentry apprenticeship is at 1 o'clock. Oh, yeah. Good, good, good. I need more superior beds, man. Rock on. Look at this. Setting up the carpenter's table. Somebody was working there. Oh, yeah. Actually, how's my regime now? We have a 4-hour period here. It would be nice to have another 4-hour period because then they could... Oh, hang on. Because they could really interact with things a little bit differently. A lot of programs are 4 hours long. Some programs are 4 hours long. Like, I think it was... What was consultation? No. What was it that was 4 hours? Parole hearings, yeah, but I thought there was another one. Maybe they're only 3 hours. Maybe I'm wrong in so many ways. I think I am. But given that this is 2 hours long and some of these are 2 hours long, you'd be able to have 2 separate instances of those sessions back to back. So that's something to consider as well. So we're going to reschedule that, and like we'll get people in foundation education too. We need that too. So hopefully we get people passing. There we go. Carpenters are so good. They're so valuable. That bed is worth how much? A lot. $400. Thank you. Keep making it, buddy. You got a little bit of time left. Mascalas Muscolo. Death by dangerous driving. You got a little bit of time left. I think I want to like... Can I do something to get your reoffending chance to go up? Can I like influence that in some way so you don't get parole? Maybe I just remove parole for a while. I think once you get eligible for parole, I'm just going to remove parole. Or I'll put you in... Yes, this is how we'll do it. I'll put you in minimum security and then say that these parole rooms are only available for minimum or medium. Then it's like you can't use the room. Speaking of which, criminally insane. I don't think I have a parole room for you. And I feel like you deserve a chance at getting parole. I feel like that's something that you should have. But I'm too worried about giving you anything extra because you're so damn good at getting out. The number one, like, these guys have escaped more times than ever. Oh, I figured out where they were coming from, too, because, like, we had that, I don't know, his last name was Gordon, that's all I remember. But we had him escape this way, and I was like, where are you coming from, right? It wasn't what I thought. He wasn't coming through here. What he was doing is he was going through the staff door, going up, trying to get through this staff door, and all of a sudden, like, he couldn't do it. So he tried to escape. And because he's already out here, he could just do that. That's how he was getting out. And again, once he reaches that tile right there, he's gone. I can't get him from there. And then, again, there is a way to do it. Like, I guess we could do it with this. That is a way. I wonder if we could just... I mean, again, I don't like doing this. I don't think this is a good solution, making land. But fundamentally, like, functional-wise, it does the same effect. Right? And that's, again, one of those things where maybe the game doesn't give me this, but there's a way, if you use your brain, you could come up with the same result. And that would be one of those things where you could put a gate here, and then they couldn't get out. So let's do that, right? You could take flooring. We could go mud even, because it's free and you can make mud. So we could say, hey, this right here, this is a fence. And we can make that fence, and we can stop people from leaving with that fence. Right here. Now we cut down that waterway, and we could just imagine, right? We just make believe, right, that the fence is like this underwater fence or net, right? And it looks kind of like what that would look like. And if we want to go in and out of here, we could even use, I would think anyway, we could even use like the road barriers or the road gates. And that could be like the door that opens for the boats. So why don't we do that, right? We could around here. And we just put a fence, one of those road gates right here, and allow them to open up when the boats come in. Like, the boat needs permission to dock, Captain. You could do that. It gives you the functionality. It's not given to you as an item that's like dedicated to that function. But in a way, that's a good thing. It gives you the raw tools to come up with a solution to whatever problem you have and want. You get out of it what you put into it. That's what I'm trying to tell you. So yeah, unpopular opinion, maybe. There's going to be some people that maybe hate this video. Go ahead and dislike it if you're one of them. That's fine. But at the end of the day, I really, truly believe what I'm saying. I'm not doing this as like a influencer who's got it out for something, right? I believe what I'm saying. I think this is a game you get in. I'm never going to say this right the first time, am I? You get out of it what you put into it. And I think if you just try your best, try your little bestest to put a little more into it, I think you'll find it's not as flawed as you think it is. It's like this, right? Yeah. There. Oh, that's what's throwing me off. No? Yes. Yeah, I was thrown off by the jagged lines. Oh, you got me. There you go. See? GG. You win, Katie Cat. You win. But at the end, you win the battle. But you did not win the war. The war is still very much mine. I'm going to do this here. It's not going to copy the door, is it? That's all right. You know, like, whatever. I don't need you to copy the door. We're just making more cells for more prisoners. Did we get early prisoner releases today? Oh! Hey, the workshop grant! We made the beds before he got out of here. Now he can leave. I don't really want him to leave. I want him to stay here and continue making beds because he's super valuable to me. He probably makes me $2,000 a day by himself. You know? Like, these guys are super... If you get carpenters, treat them like gods, okay? Because they make you so much money. Right? This single carpenter in a day with 8-hour work days, it depends on your regime, right? But like, with an 8-hour work day, that single carpenter, he's paying for like 10 guards. And he's going, I have it like this, right? I have it 2 carpenter's tables, build 2. Because he'll finish one and he'll go to the other table and immediately start working. instead of any wait time. And by the time by the time the first one is lifted off, he'll be done with the second one. He can transition back over, right? It's a great way to do it, man. And this guy will make so much cash. So when you find carpenters, dread the day that they can make parole and hope that you have someone to replace them. Because they make you so much cash. Every single bed he made today, he made like 5 or 6 beds today. Every bed he made was $400. That pays for like, I don't know, half my guard staff. It's pretty nuts, just by himself. So yeah, get carpenters. If you're wondering how to get money in Prison Architect, and you don't want to be cheesy, if you're a anti-cheese moneymaker, right? I'm talking about like no forestry spam, right? Carpenters, reform in general will do it because you'll get early prisoner releases, but carpenters, right? And you can get even, it's not really like, you might think, well, get minimum security prisoners because they're less trouble and they're easier to reform, and you'll sort of farm the early prisoner release that way. And you're not wrong. But my argument is that early prisoner release for a single prisoner, it's $3,000. But this guy, if he stays in my prison, not only am I paid by the state $200 every single day he's here, but he's just made me $2,400 today, all by himself. I'm gonna make more than that $3,000 by keeping him here more days. I want him to stay in my prison and make that bed over and over every single day. He's worth more to me in the facility than he is getting released early, right? And that's the twisted motivation of the private prison industry. And that's where I'm gonna leave this triggering video. We had a talk today, guys. I thought it was a good talk, right? We're gonna let this fence build. I probably can't do that because my staff are incapable of, getting to this point. So what I probably have to do, hi notebook page. What I probably have to do is open this up with a staff door right here, which I'm gonna do right now. And that will hopefully allow them to get to here. They can start building the fence all the way over, and then they'll be trapped over here, unless, of course, they give them another staff door where they can escape this wrath. But anyway, it'll be this big fence, and then my problem of them getting to here and swimming down, that will go away. I could do the same thing right here. I could do the same thing pretty much anywhere around this, but I think the best way to do it, because a lot of times they escape through here, right? The boat dock. They get through here somehow. I think it's through visitation. They decide they want to escape, and they bust through these doors or one of these doors or whatever. I've got these, they've been doing that, so I've got these little airlock, quote-unquote, transition periods, if you will, in these areas for staff-only mark. And they still, if they want to escape, they tend to get through that because they don't care. And as soon as they get here, again, they're gone. So if I was to make a fence that kind of went like this, and then had the road gates that open up to let the boats in, and they would close behind them, that might solve the problem. Honestly, I don't know how that works. We're going to test it later. Thank you very much for watching. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. If you don't like the video, you can give it a thumbs down. My name is Charlie. Thank you very much for watching. I appreciate it. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.